Good afternoon and welcome to 10 TV Plus. My name is Dylan Robichaud.
And I'm Jay Plyburn. Happy to be here with you, Dylan.
We got a lot of ground to cover here over the next few minutes. We have multiple weather impact days issued. Today we had the rain out here this morning, which slowed folks down, and now we have snow later on this week.
I was on the roads a little bit this morning, and it's not fun to drive when they're wet like that. Of course, if they're frozen, that's even worse.
So we're definitely a little bit concerned about the chance of wintry precip late this week, but like I was telling you earlier, the bigger threat will be the wind chill. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. Let's get you through what we can expect today and tomorrow. Then we'll talk about that weather impact late this week. All right, so most of the heavy rain that we are expecting today has already fallen. For the rest of the day, we're looking at 10 to 20% chance of rain, maybe a light sprinkle. That's pretty much it for today. Rain chances, though, are very high for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, around 60 to 70%. Lots of rain expected this week, and Saturday for the Buckeye game, we'll go over more specifics about what you can expect for tailgating, but we are going to be tracking some showers on that day. Consistently drier weather holds off until about Sunday and Monday of this upcoming weekend going into the start of next week. Let's begin right now taking a look at today's forecast, and showers out there this afternoon mainly will impact those of you east of I-71. So here's Interstate 71 cutting in across the area by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, tracking some sprinkles here out towards Cambridge and Caldwell, Zanesville. But then once we get past 3 o'clock, things are going to be looking a lot dry. Here's the bottom line, though. Tonight will be dry, cloudy, but dry. And then as we wake up tomorrow morning, still tracking cloudy conditions. As you're waking up here at 9 o'clock on your Wednesday morning, heading off to work and school, it is dry out there. And then look at this. We have another round of rain on the way. So in total, we have 3 storms. The one that came on through today, the second one will come in Wednesday afternoon. The third one will come in on Thursday. Here's a look at that second storm. Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. from Marion out to Marysville, Kenton, Bell Fountain, all tracking some showers. This next system tomorrow has a bit more of a punch with it compared to the one that we felt today. By about 3 o'clock, pretty much everyone is getting some showers. The wind will be very strong tomorrow. Take a look at the wind streamlines right here. Look how fast they are moving. That's because we will be looking at wind on your Wednesday. We're looking at about a 3 to 6 hour event. And then by 6 o'clock, dinner time, as you're getting home, things are going to be on the mend as we start to improve. And then it's really tomorrow night that we start getting the cold. You see, this rain was actually a cold front. Behind that front comes significantly colder temperatures that will make things a bit more interesting heading into the day on Thursday. Let's talk about Thursday right now. Our team has issued a 10 weather impact day on Thursday for the possibility of snow and wind. We have snow and wind, like I just said, but the biggest factor, the biggest issue will probably be the wind, as we'll be looking at very strong gusts going into the afternoon. So here's what we're thinking. This early in the season, snowfall is all about elevation, okay? I think if you live above 1,000 feet, you might be talking 1 to 2 inches. Below 1,000 feet, sure, it'll be snowing, but that soil is just too warm. And so I don't expect the snow to actually stick to the ground because of that. The other thing, though, wind chills out here. You might be going outside and saying, wow, I don't believe it's 39. It feels more like 29. That's because of the wind here on Thursday. And then we get some flash freezing. Any residual moisture on roadways will freeze on bridges and overpass Friday morning, which I'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit. All right, let's walk you through hour by hour what you can expect here on Thursday morning. Here's a look at 3:30. Not a whole lot is happening. By 6, 7 o'clock, okay, now we're gradually getting some pockets of snow. The intensity is going to be kind of broken up. So you might get a little flurry here, and then bam, a quick snow squall that lasts 5 to 10 minutes, and then things improve. It's one of those types of days. So we're not talking about a full blockbuster snow event, so I want to really make sure I make that clear. By 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, again, we actually catch a bit of a break. 3 o'clock, though, we do get a couple of hours of more intense snow off to the southwest. And then you factor in some hillier terrain. Well, that could definitely do a number on some of the totals, which I'll show you in just a bit. As we head towards Thursday night at 11 p.m., the snow is now moving down to the south, and that's where the bulk of it will be as we head late night into Thursday. Let's talk specifics here. I want to talk a bit about snowfall amounts because it will vary. Remember, Ohio is not completely flat. It actually changes elevation quite a bit. And so as we look here at some of these locations, you'll notice that as we head off to the west, this model is thinking maybe 1 to 2 inches. In the metro area, we're thinking a ½ inch or less, and this would occur on grassy surfaces. But you head down to Lancaster, New Lexington, where we get some more hills. We could be looking at slightly higher totals out there. By the way, the average first snow that we get is normally around November 20th, okay? And so that is right about now. This is actually right on schedule. Our average first inch isn't until December the 15th. That's about 4 weeks away. So we are right on track to have our first trace about when we typically get it. The other part of the weather story, how downright cold it's going to get. Take a look at this. Tomorrow, 58. Okay, that's tolerable. Look at Thursday right there, 38 degrees here. Even Friday, again, Friday 42. You think, okay, that's not bad. You factor in the wind, it's going to feel more like 32 out here. So dress accordingly heading into the next few days. As we head into Wednesday, this will be our last day above normal until probably Monday of next week. I mean, when we're looking at temperatures in the 30s on Thursday, we're talking temperatures about 11 degrees below normal for this time of the year. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we begin to warm things up. Why so cold? It all has to do with this shift in the jet stream. Here's your jet stream right here. Again, a jet stream, what is it? Basically a narrow ribbon of fast-moving air up high at 30,000 feet. The jet stream matters because it can control where the polar air is and where the tropical air is. Right now, we get in on this polar air heading into Thursday, and take a look at that, pushing down to the south. So we're going to be in the 30s and 40s, wind chills in the 20s, and we'll have that threat of black ice on Friday as that cold air eventually leaks back into the area. Here's a look at your Thursday afternoon temperatures area-wide, sitting in the mid-30s. So it is cold out here as we head into Thursday, and then we'll have the wind chill because winds will be pretty gusty. Wednesday afternoon, take a look at some of these wind gusts. Again, Thursday is not the only windy day. We'll have winds on Wednesday as well. Cambridge, Caldwell, Athens looking at gusts up to 30 miles per hour. They slightly diminish heading into Thursday morning. Thursday afternoon, we're looking at winds sustained around 20 to 25, maybe 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts could at times exceed 35 miles per hour, so get ready for that. Friday morning, we'll be tracking the possibility of black ice because bridges tend to freeze first. Why is that? Okay, it all has to do with the insulation. Let's just take a temperature of 3 degrees Celsius, right? The bridge is at 3 degrees Celsius. The road is at 3 degrees Celsius. Guess what happens here? The road is better insulated. So the road is insulated from the bottom. The bridge is not. Bridges cool from both sides. So that wind funnels underneath the bridge, and now it's cooling from the top and it's cooling from the bottom. So now look at this. The temperature of the road is still pretty mild, relatively speaking, whereas the bridge will be a couple degrees colder because it has a lack of insulation. So that's why bridges tend to freeze first. 7-day forecast shows that we have issued that 10 weather impact day. We'll talk about that in just a bit. Heading into the day on Tuesday, so this would be this afternoon, temperatures will be nice and mild in the lower end of the 60s. Look at that cloud cover as we head into the afternoon. Heading into tomorrow on your Wednesday, we're going to be looking at temperatures climbing up to around 58 degrees. We'll probably hit the warmest temperature around lunchtime, and then we start kind of decreasing as we head towards 7 o'clock in the day. Ice expected here on Friday morning. That is why we have issued that 10 weather impact early in the day. Black ice, bridges, overpasses, be extra careful, drive extra slow as we head into Friday. Then on Saturday, I promise you that we talk about the Buckeye kickoff forecast. So here's that right now. Tailgating will be in the 30s, warming up to the middle and upper 40s as we head towards the end of the game. Sunday and Monday aren't looking too bad. Temperatures will be gradually warming up as we'll be mostly in the 40s on Sunday and then eventually the mid-50s by Monday.
So if you don't have any warm weather Buckeye gear just yet, now is the time to get it because tailgating in the 30s, you got to be dressed appropriately.
It is going to be downright cold at the shoe because temperatures will be in the 40s, and then with the wind, it's probably going to feel like the upper 30s.
Yeah. All right, I'm ready for some trivia.
We got 2 questions for you today. Let's get a look here at those trivia questions. So this device measures wind speed. Thermometer, celiometer, barometer, or anemometer?
Barometer, C.
Really?
right?
No, but
Okay, anemometer.
yes,
What barometer's pressure?
correct.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't gonna let you get that one wrong.
Okay.
Also, the Doppler radar can measure wind as well.
What's the ceilometer?
That would be, so airports use that to measure the ceiling of where the clouds are.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Got ceiling in it.
All right, second question for today. Which of these places are the windiest? Mount Washington, Chicago, Mount Rainier, that's in Washington State, or Denver, Colorado?
Well, we refer to Chicago as the Windy City, but is that there to throw me off? Denver's definitely windy. Mount Washington's, higher elevation, I would think. But I'm going to go with Chicago, the Windy City.
Mount Washington, New
Thank
Hampshire.
God.
They hold the U.S. world record for the strongest wind of 231 miles per hour.
Chicago's still the Windy City, though.
Huh?
Chicago's still the Windy City.
Yeah, but if we're talking about cities, we're talking about
231. That's fast.
Yeah,
that'll knock you over.
That's stronger than a Cat 5 hurricane.
Oh, my goodness.
So let me go over to the wall. We'll explain why this is one of the windiest places on the earth. Okay, has to do with topography, but it also has to do with location. First of all, if you're unfamiliar, here's Mount Washington. It is up here in the Granite State, New Hampshire. That wind was 231 miles per hour, set back on April the 12th, 1934. But why is it so windy there? Because we got two jet streams that converge over northern New England. We have the polar jet and we have the subtropical jet. These two meet in the same area. Mount Washington has nothing to shield it. It is the highest elevation in New England at 6,288 feet. So there's no other mountains to slow down these winds as they funnel into Mount Washington. That is why it is the windiest place on earth. And as we look across the rest of the U.S., I know Mount Rainier is definitely in the top 10, but that Mount Washington for sure takes the #1 spot, Jay.
And the more you know.
The more you know. All right, I'm done quizzing you. I'll give you a break.
Thank goodness.
Take a deep breath. Take a break.
I'm
right?
learning something every day, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That is it for us now on 10 TV Plus. Be sure to tune in with Jerry Martz tonight at 4, 5, and 6 p.m. on 10 TV. We'll see you later.